Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Mr. Saucedo's YouTube videos. Today we're going to be looking at how we use mathematics to evaluate data. So there are a lot of different ways of using math to evaluate data that you collect. The easiest one, though, and the one that is probably the most obvious to most of you, is to find the average, or sometimes it's called the mean. The symbol is x with a little bar over it. And so what you do, which most people know how to find the average already, is that you add together all of your data entries. So we call that taking the sum of all of the data entries. So that symbol could be used like this. So you have, that's the capital sigma sign, which is a way of meaning sum, and then x meaning all of the entries that you have. So basically taking the sum of all of your x's. And then you divide by the number of entries you have. And so normally we represent that by the letter n. So the way that you can calculate it, okay, using some sort of formula, is x bar equals the sum of x divided by n. So I'm just going to give you random numbers that we're going to use for every single one of these little mathematical tricks. So for example, if I said find the mean of these numbers, and I gave you a list of numbers, so we have 3, 9, 1, 4, 5, and 10. What I can do to find the average is I can add all of those together. So I can add these all together, and then I can count the number of entries. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 entries, and then that would be my n. So let's add them all together. That's 32, and we have 6 entries. That would be my n. So 32 divided by 6 is about 5.33. So that would be my mean for this data set. And it makes sense. Look, we have numbers ranging from 1 to 10. And, if you just looked at 1 and 10, you'd expect it to be about somewhere between, 5 to 5 point something. And so it is. Now, what about the median? Another one that most people know. That is the value that lies right in the middle of the data when the data set is put in order. And so something that not a lot of people know is that if it is an even number of entries, so let's say there is not an odd number of entries, so there is no direct middle, then what do? You add the two middle entries and you divide by 2. So here we go, find the median of those numbers. So the first thing I would do if I was finding the median of these numbers is I would write them from lowest to greatest. So I would probably want to order them like this: 1, 3, 4, 5, 9, and 10. And then I would find the middle entry. So because we have 6 entries, there is no middle entry. So I have 2 middle terms. I have a 4 and I have a 5. So what do I do? Like it says, if there's an even number, I add these two numbers together and I divide by 2. So 5 plus 4, we know that's 9, divided by 2 is 4.5, and that would be my median for this data set. Next, mode. That is the value or values that have the greatest frequency. In other words, repeated numbers. And so it says a data set may have more than one or none. So again, find the mode. I have no repeat digits, which means I would have no mode. Now, on the other hand, if I had 2 4s, that would mean that 4 would be the mode, or something like that. Next, what about the range? The range is the difference between the maximum and minimum data entries in your set. So if we have this, what is our maximum? Our biggest numbers are 10 here. What's our minimum? Smallest number is 1. So we take the difference, meaning we subtract. So 10 minus 1 is 9. We have a range of 9 numbers here. Standard deviation, lowercase s. So this is the hard one, but it is a measurement of the consistency of your data. So the lower your number, generally, the better your data, okay? And so how would we do this? This is the formula for standard deviation. So S equals the square root of the sum of x minus x bar. So in case you don't remember, x, that's just any number in your data set. X bar, remember, that is the mean. So it's x minus the mean, and yes, you square it. And then, since it says sum, that means you're adding them all together. And then n is the number of entries we had, just like when we were doing the mean. And so minus 1 from that. And then you take the square root of the entire thing. So let's take a look at our numbers again. We've got all these numbers. Here's something to remember. We already found the mean. The mean was 5.33, so we can just basically plug that in to our equation if we needed to. And now let's do at least the first part here. So let's do the first part. Our first number, 3. So I do 3 minus 5.33 and square it. Next number. Oh, there it is right here, by the way. So I did this in my calculator. It ends up being 5.4289. Next number, 9. 9 minus 5.33, square it. Get this. Next, 1 minus 5.33, square it. Get this. Next, number 4. 4 minus 5.33 and square it. You get that. Next, 5 minus 5.33, square it. You get that. Last one, 10. We get this. So this entire thing, when we add them together, gives us this entire top term, 61.333. All right, so now think about it. We have the top part of this entire fraction. Now we just got to find the bottom part and take the square root. So now we have x bar, which we already used. We have this entire thing we already used. Next, n minus 1 is 5, because we have 6 entries, so we do 5. That means we take the square root of 61.3334 divided by 5, we get about 3.50. That would be the standard deviation. So that last one, I know, kind of annoying, but that still gives you a good way of being able to analyze data when you have a lot of numbers. It's just the more numbers you have, the longer this process takes to actually find the top part of your fraction. So I hope you found that useful. If you have any questions, let me know.